No, of course I have a modern cell phone. You think I'm that out of touch? The brick is my burner phone. Asinine. At least that's what the guide menu says on my Xbox. Normally I don't play mobile phone games in general. The only one I really own for my phone is Stand Up Food. Funny little game. I remember loving it when playing free trials on one of my old hand-me-down PCs as a kid, and it's still fun to play. But that's just a paid phone game, most of them are terrible and don't cost that much. What I'm here to talk about is a free-to-play mobile game. This is a video about Asphalt. Gameloft was founded in Paris, France in 1999 by Michael Guillemot, one of the founders of Ubisoft. We're going great, aren't we? They're sort of well known for making licensed games for phones, as well as knockoff games sometimes. But what most people think of when it comes to Gameloft, they think about the Asphalt series. If I'm not mistaken, this is the biggest cash cow they ever had, starting in 2004 with Asphalt Urban GT on the N-Gage. How the fuck did this take off? It got ported to Nintendo DS and Java-based phones later on. As of 2023, it's on its 9th main entry, and of course it has its spin-offs like the off-road-centric Xtreme, the endless runner Overdrive, the one for underpowered by say standards phones, and the times went back to dedicated handheld consoles with middling results. For this video, I'll be looking at, of course, 2018's Asphalt Legends, developed by Gameloft Barcelona Studio, which is a leisure vlog from the Sagrada Familia. Alguna oferta para el conserje? Now, why the fuck am I even reviewing a phone game in the first place? Shouldn't I be reviewing a proper console game that I paid money up front? Well, here's the thing, it got ported to other systems like Windows and Mac OS's, tablets, and the Nintendo Switch, and there's even a cut-down arcade version, but that's not strange enough. On the 31st of August 2021, Gameloft released S9 on the Xbox line of consoles. You know, Xbox One, Series S and X? Yeah, that's the reason why I'm reviewing it. There has been console games ported to phones, and there has been phone games ported to consoles, and the latter strikes me as weird. I know this isn't the case, but how the hell are you gonna make a touch game work on a controller? Angry Birds is simple, you can just flick the left stick to launch birds, but what about Cut the Rope? Well, appropriate for PC or Switch, but way less so on a home console, which is why I never got one. But even then, phone games are designed to be played in short bursts during bus rides, or while waiting to get called for a meeting with the cops. Only to realize you might suffer a fate worse than death if you're telling what really happened. Where did I get here? What I'm saying is, phone games are much like arcade games. Hell, they even eat your cash away fast if you're not careful. Yeah, that's the thing with free-to-play games, nay, the gaming industry today. The tendency to put predatory monetization in them, even if you bought a game up front. I can't stand games with so many microtransactions, grinding gameplay, daily challenges, incentives to keep you playing every day, FOMO exploitation, limited resources that replayers after winning, fucking gambling, it's an outrage! And don't get me started on annoying ads in free games telling me to buy shit with real cash, or even the shittiest ads for other games, especially those that lie to your face that it's a completely different game than it actually is. You think it's some pin puzzle game? Wrong! It's fucking Bejeweled. Oh sure, those pin puzzles or whatever are added to the game, but they're completely optional and they're still not the meat of the game. They were only added after the ads got banned in the UK over 2 years ago. Same thing happened to Ebony. You know, the game that advertised being hornier than it actually was. Now they're being advertised being nothing more than pin puzzles, which were awkwardly added in the game after the Homescapes fiasco. I'm going back to Age of Empires. Really, the constant ads are putting me off playing any free game on my phone for a long time. Rather support developers the old-fashioned way. Now for the rest, I can excuse a bit when it's a free game. A bit. Price games? No, you can't do that shit! Why try justifying raising the price of your shit AAA game to $70 if you're gonna keep adding this shit? You're a disgrace to video games everywhere! I'm never gonna get sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. So sit back, don't feel relaxed, and we shall start feeling dirty playing this exclusive racing game. And already a bad sign. It's a nitpick, but usually when you launch a game on the Xbox, you'd see a splash screen featuring key art and the title of the game. S9, however, company logo on a black background. Why though? Is it for the intro video? The transition is even seamless. And I also don't like the unskippable logo video, which the phone version doesn't have. It plays every time you start the game up. I don't like it, and the noise makes me hate it more. Anyway, if this is your first time, you're given the tutorial in the Ferrari. Fuck me, why? I already know the controls for most races, like I know the driving mechanics aren't the same on every racing game, but even then, the controls are still similar. This is a racing game, not a wrestling game. Maybe I shouldn't be pissed off already, this is a tutorial after all, and the system you'll most likely gonna play is on the phone. Still wish there was an option to skip it though. After that's done and read this sentence from some schmuck off the street I suppose, I earned my first car, an Evo 10. At least it's not an Evo 5, but I prefer the Evo 7 more. And now I'm presented by the Now don't get me wrong, it actually looks good. On a touchscreen. See, phones are small. Compared to TVs at least. For that reason, phone games should have larger text and bigger buttons to make it easier to see and use. And whether it's on a PC or a smartphone, it's more comfortable and quicker selecting stuff with either the mouse or a finger. I've played Dicey Dungeons on Xbox before buying the PC version, and yeah, it's much better with a mouse where you drag and drop compared to selecting which die to use with a controller. So it comes as a shock to see that this menu system remains almost intact from the phone versions. It got tweaked to use the controller, but it's not even that good. The menu buttons are too big for my TV. I'm nearsighted, but this is even too much for me. This menu system only makes sense when you're using a touchscreen. Seeing this on a home console like the Xbox is so horrifying, it made my hair gray in an instance. Doesn't look too bad. Don't complain too much, this is a free game after all. I've played free games with more dignity than that. So here's the main menu with most stuff locked, even the multiplayer. Don't worry, all the stuff will gradually be unlocked by the middle of the career mode's first chapter. Here you're racing linear events inside these season boxes. To progress through the season, you must do required challenges to get flags. Sometimes you just finish or win the races, other times you also have to do stunts as well. And as you do, you earn extra cash, car packs, tokens, blueprints, and also unlock seasons. These two will make more sense as I explain later, but just so you know, car packs are loot boxes. Yeah, here's the first event with my first proper car. Every car has 6 or maybe even less fuel canisters, and if you enter an event, you'll waste one. All gone, and you can't race and have to wait a certain amount of time, depending on the car, to have them refilled. Reminds me of Crazy Market on the PS Vita. There you play as a cashier, dragging items to the scanner, and sometimes have to enter the park car yourself and dragging bombs away as well. Oh yeah, my fantasy, a fucking minimum wage job. But while that game has you wait some months of coffee to play till they're all gone, and you have to wait like an hour for one to be refilled, here, once the timer's done, all is replenished. And having multiple cars isn't much of a problem unless you frequently use the better ones. Ain't that fun? At least that game lets you pay a fee for infinite coffee, but I digress. I gotta say, phone graphics had quite an evolution. S9 looks like a late PS360 game, and I see it as a compliment. It's so clean and the colors pop so frequently, even in drive courses like Scotland. The night stages are where the graphics shine the best. Better yet, it runs at a smooth 60 FPS. Sometimes. Yeah, even on my Xbox One X, it tends to drop when there's so much particles doing their shit, especially when up close. Boy is it trying. Another downside is how unstable it runs. At least on my Xbox One X, it tends to freeze for a bit on menus and during races. I didn't expect the issues on my phone to transfer to the console port, and the game doesn't even look good on my phone. Nay, this is way much worse. When I get hit by one of these longer freezes, I almost expected the console to crash to the levels of PGR 2 playing on the 360. But nonetheless, it gets out. This is absolutely painful when playing in a multiplayer match. You were doing so well despite the shit connection when suddenly... This game hits console hard drives, it seems. Was I unlucky for buying that over a Series S? I want a disc drive, dammit! For sounds, it's a hodgepodge of loud and brash. Every time you jump, it makes this sound while the rest gets muted until you land. The boost is alright, but more important is the car sounds, and... they're alright as well. Not too fancy, not sure how accurate they are, but at least the electric cars have this high-pitched noise when you drive them. Overall, not bad, but a bit annoying, especially when you buy a car pack. Ugh. As for music, well shit, I haven't paid much attention to it since I muted it the second I heard a fucking swag rock song. Well, there are some tracks I like, but the rest is all mad to me. It's basically like an FS Payback but with less trap, at least from what I heard. Oh gee, that's Crossy Road. Not listening, so fuck that. And speaking of that game, it shares a song from NFS Payback, Black Wave by K-Flay, according to NFS soundtrack. Oh great, more reminders of that shit. Before I talk gameplay, can I just say that this has got to be the slowest recount in a racing game? As this is a fun game, you'd have to either use the touchscreen or the gyroscope to steer, while the game does the acceleration for you. If you don't want to bother with either of these, there's Touch Drive, which automates the steering as well, and you only have to worry about drifting, boosting, and flicking at which branching way or ramp you want to go. I, however, am playing with a controller, and as you can guess, it plays like a console racer, woo. Right trigger for gas, left trigger for drift, A for nitrous like NFS Payback, and you can catch my drift for the rest, no pun intended. Although, this shit is so simplified, there's no option for manual. Oh well, I love Burnout 3 as a casual player, and that has no manual option either, so The controls are simple, sure, but the game heavily relies on goofy ass stunts and drift to gain boost. Now, this game uses some weird version of drifting. It isn't exactly brake to drift, but drifting is more of a toggle switch. Tap the left shoulder and you get to drift till your car straight, which stops automatically after a bit, then you tap it again to go back to normal. It's really strange as in the phone version you must hold the left side to drift like in Mario Kart. It's weird in the console version somehow. Double tapping the drift button lets you spin, which is useful for doing jump stunts or even taking down other drivers. Yes, this is also a Burnout game with licensed cars and more off-the-wall driving mechanics. Though the takedowns are easy to do. Boosting is another way to take someone down. When you hit a perfect nitro at the right time after tapping once, you can basically hit anyone not using it, and that counts. When the bar is full, double tapping gives you a nitro shockwave, a faster very quick depleting boost, best used for recoveries or desperate finishes. However, you can fill as you boost by doing all of these to extend the nitro time till the bar depletes, or you cancel it by engaging a drift. Seriously, you can change stunts and get a boost that goes on and on and on. It's crazy, I tell you! As for the AI, this is just like in Burnout. Were there any X criterion developers in that studio? Really, the AI tend to stick close to you, making you anxious whenever you're so close to the finish line. So you better keep boosting, even if some opponents can even keep you up with you. I swear, the shorter races are a bait in my existence, especially when you have to do certain stuff to progress. Fuck! 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 This one race in Ultimate Muscle is a waste of my gas tank. Made worse in that it's the only car that meets these requirements. That portion isn't a muscle car! Funny how you can knock opponents down with the 360s, but not vice versa. Nuh-uh, I have an anti-360 knockout paint jobs and you can't defeat me! Of course, racing isn't just the only game mode. You also have slipstream races where you get nitros quick by, well, drafting your opponents, time attack where you go through checkpoints to collect clocks to gain time to reach the finish line, and hunted, which is just a type of time attack where you get chased by cubs. The pigs are relentless. They try their very best to knock you down, but there are still methods to take them down, by spinning, hitting while on the air, or using nitrous shockwaves. And at the finish line, there's a roadblock on the way, and you might expect to go through the blockade by hitting somewhere vulnerable. But Asphalt says, here's an easy way. Still entertaining and challenging though. The tracks themselves are just as goofy as well. They have ramps, quarter pipe ramps for barrels, blue and gold boost bottles, scripted environmental destruction, and even new purple sections like inside a volcano in Greenland. It's ridiculous and I love it. Though, as a criticism, it's tedious to race on the same places many times during career mode. Oh gee, it's Shanghai again. San Francisco once more. Wow, the Himalayas? It's like you're never left. Sure, they can have layout variations, but I just wish there was daytime variation. It's like I'm playing PGR 4. But still, fun to race through. Not to mention how short the races are. At least in the first chapter, it's either short point tracks or 2-minute 1-lap races. Then again, this is a free phone game and not exactly a console racer, despite being on one. Not gonna lie, the gameplay is actually entertaining, if rather repetitive. I just wish it wasn't bombarded with all of this bullshit. As for the car list, it's not that big compared to Forza, but there's more cars than your average more Need for Speed title. Not only is there some shit you usually find in most races with licensed cars, but there's also a lot of cars from brands you and I probably never heard of, like Faraday Future. Remember that shit? plus loads of concept cars like it's a Gran Turismo game. I just wish they were in better games than this. And isn't it funny how these two cars are in the same class for some reason? Meanwhile, these two cars have the same stock stats, yet they're in different classes. Yeah, the class system in this game is fucking stupid. So how do you manage to earn a car? Well, to do that, you must collect enough blueprints to unlock it. How many is dependent, but it's not over when you unlock it. Collect enough more, and you can start it out for better customization, more performance upgrades, and so forth. Now, how do you get blueprints? You can do it in some ways, winning some races, earning or buying car packs, even buying one at the shop with either the game's cash or tokens, and I'm already lost. Yeah, this is the kind of free game I despise. The ones that feel like they should be priced games but aren't, yet there are too many catches. The kind that forces you to grind for days if you don't pay even a single cent on it. If you want this thing but you're broke as fuck, tough shit, have fun driving the worst C-Class car you have for a long while, and it's your only one too! So, in my case, in a Camaro season, you can race with any of these two Camaros. However, there are two events that require one of the two, and one of them requires the Camaro ZL1, which I didn't have then. Big deal, I might win races that rewards me with its blueprints, but even then it's a long grind fest. Sure, it's optional, but I only had one C-Class car at the moment, and I'd like to have some variety as well. So my other option is to try my luck with the car packs. I can open a classic car pack every 4 hours, and or spend 65 tokens to open a premium pack, which gives me chances to get its blueprints. However, it's lumped with many other different blueprints, so I have a pretty slim chance of getting the required ones. And even then, I might get a low number like one blueprint for the ZL1. So the quicker way to get it is by spending loads of money on tokens and try getting that fucking car that I want. Sure, there are other options to get the blueprints like buying more shit or progress further to get the required cars. Fuck, I hate this shit. Alas, I finally got the car I want, after like 10 fucking hours! And even then, there are cars that require to earn a key alongside cars to unlock, cars that must be unlocked via daily events, and seasonal cars that you must get the cars for before time runs out. Ah, fuck me! And this shit! I banked some tokens as I race, but I reached a limit, and if I want to get them before that timer runs out, I have to pay a single dollar to do so. And if I want to get some more, the price increases until the timer resets. No! As an autistic trans woman, I must resist this bullshit! It might just be $1, but that $1 will turn into an accumulative $100, even 1,000, might grow an addiction and even go on debt. I mustn't get sucked in! I mustn't! At the very least, the Xbox version doesn't pressure me into watching ads, unlike the phone version. But still, there's like 3 different kinds of currencies here, what the fuck? Anyways, what was I on again? Oh yeah, cars. As for upgrading, it's similar to the one in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Every time you upgrade something, it gets more expensive until you reach the end. Pretty simple. However, you can earn so-called import parts, which, well, also increases performance ranking. For fuck's sake, on top of that, worse yet, it's 2 kinds, the non-class specific ones and the class specific ones, and they're both required to max out your car. I still think Payback's upgrade system is the worst, but still. I also hate how the game forces me to do shit. They're trying to teach me stuff I already know! Why does this game love to hand on me? I don't wanna! Oh, I wanna check this one seasonal event group after I unlocked it, but oh no! It sent me to this other one, and now I have to suffer through this bullshit so that I can check the one I'm supposed to check! I don't care, I'm gonna forget everything about it after I'm done! Ah! Yes, there's seasonal events and daily events where you can try earning more shit. Not always winning though, just finishing at a certain time, specific cars, doing stunts, the works. Much like the rival system in the Forza games, except you have tickets which, oh no, act like the gas cans! Enter an event, you'll waste a ticket, and you have to wait 10 minutes to get another one. There's even events that cost 2 tickets, good god! Now granted, you start with 10 max, but if you waste all of them, you have to wait like 20 minutes minimum to get to another 2-ticket event. You're limiting me even more! Let's end on a somewhat high note and talk a bit about multiplayer. No, there's no split screen. I kind of expect the game log to reach that potential. Despite what its game card says, you don't need gold membership to play online, like any other free game on the system. I was scared at first. I thought I needed it after seeing the car, but it turns out you need to win some career races to unlock it. It's good. There's 2 ways to play, whether you want to pick cars you own, or whether you want to do slipstream races with maxed out rental cars. I say it's good, but it's basically the same with actual cars beating you hard this time. Sometimes you go for cars, probably a connection issue, other times you can hit them. But other than that, it's alright. Level up your reputation to gain rewards, and level up the harder leagues. It's as simplistic as is. There's also clubs. No thanks. That was Asphalt 9. Should I recommend it? Fuck no! Even as a free game, there are loads of better races without shitty monetization. Trackmania comes to mind. Not the 2020 version. Don't get me wrong, the gameplay is entertaining, but the game itself, being free to play, is rare with microtransactions, grinding, and waiting. By the time I started Chapter 2, I've accumulated over 10 hours, and it felt like I haven't progressed much after like 4 hours. Felt like a monotonous task and a fun game. This is worse than Gran Turismo's Freeze career mode, and that was already grindy and tedious. And don't get me started on the stuttering. I'm not sure if the series consoles fixed that with their SSDs, but I fucking doubt it. Still better than watching a Rags video. I want to euthanize that dog. In Gmod. Overall, you might as well get an emulator and some ROMs instead. Saves a lot of trouble. Actually, I haven't bothered dying recently. All that trauma in the past really made such a number on my hair that I just gave up and let it show its true colors. Or the lack thereof.
Good evening, I'm Seth Meyers. This is Late Night. We hope you're doing well tonight. And now we're going to get to the news. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke yesterday at a gala for a pro-abortion rights organization and said, quote, those Republican leaders who are trying...